Welcome back to FSI Field. We've got our special guest joining us today, Flying Squirrels relief pitcher Caleb Simpson. And Caleb, thanks for being here today.
Appreciate it, man.
Before we get into the season that you've had so far and some of the accomplishments you've been able to put together this year, I want to go back to sort of your roots, coming up initially as a catcher, correct, before you turned into a pitcher?
Yeah, I was actually drafted as a pitcher. Caught my whole life, and then the Giants just didn't see it in my future, so they decided to pick me up as a pitcher. And at that point, I was just happy to sign a contract.
Yeah. And so how did they recognize that you had that arm? I mean, seeing you throw out runners at second base, is that something that they noticed?
I guess seeing me throw down at showcases, pro days for teams, and I guess something just sparked their eye, and they wanted to see me off the mound. And it was all raw, and there was no teaching. It was just, me up there throwing. I guess somebody saw something. And
I saw a big fastball, right?
Yeah, I saw a big dude throwing a big fastball.
Big guy from Oklahoma. Yeah. But it's been a bit of a journey for you to get to this point. Yeah. You and I have talked on the Flying Squirrels pregame show about sort of some of the trials and tribulations you've had. Can you sort of recount that for you and your experiences to get to this point?
Yeah, so I signed in 2013, and I ended up slipping a disc in my back. So that put me out for 2013, and then rehabbed. I was ready to go for the 2014 season, and I strained my UCL in my elbow. So they gave me PRPs.
Which is the injection,
Injection, right? Yeah. They took out blood, and they took out PRP, and they injected my elbow and did a bone marrow transfusion. So they take bone marrow out of your hip and put it into your elbow. Rehabbed all of 2014 season. Didn't get any innings. And then 2015 ended up having Tommy John because the bone marrow failed. So I missed the 2015 season, rehabbed all that year, came back for 2016. I was finally cleared, I believe, at 13 months. So I broke to short season and ended up getting like 6 innings and blowing out my shoulder. Tore a labrum, had a cyst in there that was pinching. So I missed the 2016 season. And in 2017, battled back and finally made it for my first full year.
That's a lot of perseverance there.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff you go through mentally, and I know that the guys at the lower levels, a bunch of my buddies say how much of a grind it is. Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like I went through a personal grind as well on a different level, a different experience than what they.
What kind of support group do you need for something like that in terms of family and friends?
Yeah, family. My dad's got a lot of experiences. He's been all over the world. He was in the Air Force for a while, and he's got a lot of experiences, and he helped me through understanding that it's all going to be okay. Right. It is a setback, and it is a big deal to have to sit there and rehab and go through all this mental stuff. But he's always reminding me that there's more to life than baseball, and putting things in perspective for me helped a lot. And my wife was there, and she always helped me stay balanced and keep things in perspective.
So here's a raw pitcher coming out of college, going through injury, and now you're finally healthy and finally able to get the innings in. And now you're starting, I think, to learn a little bit about what your repertoire is and how to get hitters out. Yeah,
learning things at the AA level is definitely a difficult thing. Glenn Dishman, our pitching coach, I believe I was telling you about it, he showed me a slider, and I haven't really been able to get into double plays, get out of sticky situations very well. I'm a fly ball pitcher, so he showed me this slider, and it actually been working. I've been, getting out of innings that in the past years would have been a lot more difficult.
And you were saying this is a pitch that, had you been able to kind of work on your pitches back in 2013 or 14, you would have already had in your arsenal.
Yeah, I would have already had it, and I would have learned it, and it'd been a lot easier instead of picking it up and going. And it's either being able to throw for a strike or figuring something else out because there's no more time left on the clock.
How, I guess, thrilled are you that well, not only you're healthy, but also you've been able to close out games successfully for the Flying Squirrels?
Yeah, it's been great. I talked to Ray Black a lot whenever he was here because I'm almost following in his footsteps.
Mm-hmm.
He's been through a lot as well. So being able to talk to him about those situations and talk about safe situations and kind of what he does helped a lot. Never really been a closer, never really had a role. Like I said, this is all fairly new. So being in those situations and feeling the adrenaline in the ninth inning at the Diamond's pretty special.
It's been special to have you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right, back here at FSI Field in a little bit with Caleb Simpson for a Flying Squirrels baseball demonstration.